Good evening, everyone. This is Theresa Webb. Can you see my screen? Can you see the web analyzer? I don't think I'm sharing.
No.
Okay. Figure out what I did. Thanks, Jeanette. Can you? Yeah, you can see it now, can't you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the ECC11 strategy work group. This is a space where nobody gets left behind. Again, my name is Theresa Webb, and anytime you have any questions, feel free to address them at any given time. As you know, this is Dr. Kathy's strategy. The ECC11 is a strategy that she created in collaboration with Stephen Hooley, who is the program analyst. You know, he just pretty much took everything that she knew and integrated it into the web analyzer, and we have the ECC11. So what I like to do is check to see who we have who are new to the ECC11 strategy or either the vibrata. If you could identify yourself by just putting a 111 in the chat, that would be great. Okay, Dre, Scott, you're new. Welcome. Galaxy S9, you're new. Welcome. iPhone, you're new. Welcome. And Mac phone, welcome. So what I like to do is check to see if there's anything moving. We don't have any news tonight that is going to impact the market. So it may be a slow night, but when it's slow, we do get, you know, a lot of questions answered and, you know, we cover a lot more material. So with that being said, just to let you know, I've been a student of Dr. Kathy's for 2 years. Really, she's only the educator that I've ever followed. And I just find that she made it simple. And because it was simple, I loved it. and simple made me money. So, I'm one of those type of people, I follow the money. So, I've stayed with her for the entire 2 years, learned a lot. I think she's just an amazing individual. She cares about whether or not we win, and she wants us all to be on the right side of money. So, with that being said, I'm going to look at NZD USD because that is one of the stronger pairs. I'm going to look at my MT4 for a hot second. If you just give me a minute. If I can. I just want to check on NZD USD because it's supposed to be very, very strong. Like 79% from the standpoint of it buying. Well, it's been buying for quite a while. Let's see what it's going to do. Yeah, I think it's going to continue to keep buying. Let me look further. Let's see. Just want to check the 1 hour. I think it can go up to, let me see. I'm gonna have to study this a little bit more. It just looks like it's gonna keep buying. Looking at the daily, and it is gonna sell on the daily, so you may not go as high as I thought it was going to. So we'll just watch it. I'll watch it and I'll look at it again in a sec. It's pulling back right now anyway, but I'll look at it again before the night's over. Okay, let me get back to the screen. What I like to do for those that are new, if in fact for those that are attend this session quite a bit, if you want to just scan the market and see if there's anything moving, put something in the chat and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, it is a potential buy. NZD USD is a potential buy, but it is pulling back right now. It is a sell, overall selling on the daily, and I think on the 4 hour I saw it. No, it is buying on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. But yeah, I just want to look at it again before I even suggest or imply that we could get into a 4 buy. So I'll look at it again, but it is pulling back right now. Okay. So what I like to do for those that are new, I'm just going to ask you to which line or lines are you looking at? What do you mean? iPhone.
Like I see a green line, a red line, a line with multicolored candles on it. Which one are you looking at to analyze the trade?
Oh, I really look at all of them. But when I go to the daily, I'm looking at the candle. The daily has a sale candle and the daily just started. So we're looking at 19 hours of, I think it said 19 hours of selling. So even if it does buy, you may just be able to get 10 pips or something like that. I wouldn't try to go for any type of swinging or any long trades because it is buying on the 4 hour, buying on the 1 hour, but you just kind of have to watch it to see when it's not like buying in every time frame, well, then I just do 10 pips. I don't try to do any type of swing trading or anything like that. So that's the situation I was looking at. So when I'm looking at the daily, I looked at the candle. When I went down to the 4 hour, I was still looking at the candle. But when I looked at the hour, that's when I kind of start looking at the green line, see if the red line is above the green line, see if the price is above the cloud. And then, of course, I go down to the 15. And on this particular strategy with the vibrata, you really shouldn't even go past the 15-minute time frame. You should work from the 15 through the 5 to the 1 because this particular strategy is set for 10 pips. And when you do that, of course, you'll be looking at when you're analyzing the trade, you'll be looking at the red line over the blue line or under the blue line. But we're going to get into that as we go over the indicators, what the indicators are used for, and as we make sure that everybody's setting is correct on the web analyzer. Okay. All right, for those that are new, what I do is just, if you're new to vibrata, oftentimes when you pull up the web analyzer, you don't necessarily, Dr. Kathy Kirkland's ECC11 strategy sometimes does not pull up. So if you could just follow my cursor and when you look at strategy at the bottom of the page, just click on Dr. Kath, just click on the red line or whatever strategy is there, and you'll get a pop-up box, which is the web analyzer settings. And I'm getting ready to share this with you in a sec. Okay, and hopefully you can see the box. And what I ask people to do is just scroll down to pick up your strategy, and then you'll find a drop box. You've got an arrow that goes up and down. If you click on it, you will see Dr. Kathy Kirkland's ECC11 strategy. That is the first strategy. You want to click on that. Then click on Save for Mobile Safari Desktop. And then where it says Turn Cha-Ching on Off, click on. And then go up to Save Settings and Reload. And Dr. Kathy's strategy should appear. Okay, her strategy should appear on the screen. One of the other things I do is, so that's the first thing you want to do. Then the next is I look at the time frames at the top. Right under Vibrata Web Analyzer, you'll find time frames. And we trade based on time frames. So your M5 time frame, the algorithm is set, whereas if you take a trade alert on the M5 time frame, you're only going to get, the algorithm is set for 3 to 5 pips. So that's all you're going to get from that trade. If 3 to 5 pips is okay with you, you can go ahead and keep that checked. I personally deselect it. I deselect it because any alert called on the 15-minute and above, the algorithm is set for 10 pips, and I'm interested in 10 pips. So, but just by all means, if 3 to 5 is good for you, by all means, keep your M5 selected. Basically, when you're looking at time frames, all it really means is that each candle represents that time frame, like 15-minute time frame. Each candle represents 15 minutes. Same thing for M5. If you look under the time frames, you will find If you look to the left, you will find a green border, greenish blue border, and a red border. The green kind of like bar, all that means is that particular alert is a buy. The alert that you received is for GBP USD and it's a potential buy. The red one is for sales. The red bar means that that particular alert is a sale. When you look to the left, you'll see some buttons to the left of the alerts, and one in particular says LP. Okay, one in particular says LP. That is the London payout. So if you don't have the London payout, I highly encourage you to get it. As you know, Dr. Kathy calls pending trades every evening at Sunday through Thursday. She calls them at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You find those trades on the London payout. Those pending trades usually take profit before you wake up for her 3 o'clock session. So, and you're going to make more than, I think it's only $10 extra a month, and you're going to make more than $10 extra. So I highly recommend that you get the London payout if you don't have it. If you scroll down to the buttons at the bottom, there's 4. The first one gives you trade alerts for Forex pairs. The second one will give you trade alerts for cryptocurrency pairs. The third one, indices. And the fourth one, metals, gold and silver. Then if you would switch over to the chart, you should have a setting, an Ichimoku setting. Now the ECC11 strategy really just is the Ichimoku cloud. And that just means, it means it's a Japanese term for one glance, which means you can take a look at the cloud and you can pretty much tell what the trend is. You can tell what the trend is. So we want to make sure your settings are correct, because oftentimes if you're new to vibrato, the settings will be something like 92652. We want to, and that is a swinging strategy that you can use. Those are for swing trades. That strategy is for swing trades. But this is a scalping strategy, so we want to make sure that your settings are correct. So click on that little wheel and click on inputs, and you can just click on the box and type in the number 6, baseline 13, lagging span 26, displacement 13. Now go to defaults and click on save as default, because if you don't save it as default, you'll have to change your settings every time you open up the web analyzer. Then go to style, and sometimes the blue, the baseline and the conversion line colors are switched. So your conversion line should be red. If it's blue, just click on the box, select red, and at the same time you may want to change the thickness of your lines. It helps me see the red line, blue line, and green line better. So I've changed the thickness on mine. Your baseline should be blue. You can just click on it, the box, change it to blue, and you may want to thicken your line as well. Lagging span is green, but you may want to thicken your money line, your green line, and mine is at the thickest. And then you'll go to defaults, save as default, and click OK. If you have circles on your chart, just click on your chart and they'll go away. Okay. I'm gonna go to I don't know why US 30 wants me to keep looking at it, but as you can see, I was talking about how you can look at the cloud and really see what the trend is. As you can see, US 30 is trending upward right now. And the cloud is a purple shaded area. I want to go to a Forex pair though. Okay, so the cloud is this purple shaded area, and I'm sure you've already gone through sessions 100 through 400 in the Academy series, and they talked about support and resistance. Well, in the cloud, these outer lines are your support and resistance. Okay. Your green line that you're looking at right here, that is your Chiku span. Some educators refer to it as the lagging line. Dr. Kathy refers to it as the money line. Why? Because, you know, this is the first indication of which way price is going. Money flows three ways. It flows up, it flows down, it flows sideways. I'm sure you've heard when price is low, you're looking um, to buy, and if price is high, you're looking to sell. So if price is going sideways, like it is right now, that's consolidation, and that is not the time to get into a trade. Because what happens is you could lose a lot of money if you enter into a trade when it's consolidating. All that means, in my opinion, is that the market is resting right now and it's trying to make a decision as to whether or not it's going to go to the upside or to the downside. And a lot of that is based on the money makers, what decision they're going to make as it relates to the particular pair. So, the money line is the first indication of which way price is going. Now, the candle follows the money line. It will move behind the money line. And then the signal line that is the Tenkan-sen. And that just, we refer to, it's the proper name is Tenkan-sen, but we refer to it as a signal line. And oftentimes it just signals which way the candle's going to go. Like sometimes you'll see this red line pushing the candle up or down or sideways. And then the blue line, well, you can use this as your stop loss if you don't know how to set your stop loss. And as just as an example, if you were in this trade, your stop loss, you would put your crosshair at the end of your blue line, such as here, and you can see that you can set your stop loss at 1.24984. Now that's one option. Another option, I've heard Dr. Kathy, you know, she doesn't give stop losses on 10 pips, but I've heard her say, you know, 30 pips, you could set your stop loss at 30 pips. Basically, your stop loss should be set, you know, based on whatever the amount is you're willing to lose. You can also go to babypips.com as another option, and you can put in information such as your capital, and I think it asks what your risk is. And, you know, of course, proper risk management is 1%, 1 to 3% for every $100. So you can put that information in and it'll calculate what your stop loss can be, where you can set your stop loss, and how much it will be. So I think that's really a helpful tool to have as well. So you've got several options as it relates to your setting your stop loss. When I first started, I set my stop loss at 40 pips. So again, it's entirely up to you. It's based on how much you're willing to lose. Let me see. I talked about, so the way the algorithm is set is that if the red line is above the blue line, well, price is buying. If the red line is below the blue line, well, price is selling. So if the red line is above the blue line above the cloud, it is a strong buy. If the red line is below the blue line, below the cloud, is a strong sell. you can make money, you know, because this is the way I first started trading, and I made good money trading just the red line above the blue line. If you can catch the red line when it crosses, like, let me see if I can show you an example. Dang it. You see right here where I think it's the red line crossing right here. Here's a cross right here, it's clear. You can see where the red line crossed over the blue line. Well, if you can catch a cross like this, you're going to get 10 pips out of that cross. All right. You can refer to it as a TK cross, but anytime you catch it, that's 10 pips you're going to get right there. One of the things that I do, like sometimes you may see the red line above the blue line and you're wondering how many more pips you can get out of a trade. Well, this is not a good, well, I guess I could use this as an example. Even though, you know, the cloud is pointing up and you know this particular trade is buying because the red line is above the blue line, we can clearly see that it's pulling back right now. So if you wanted to know how far it was going to pull back, well, you would look to the left to see what your next lowest low is. And so I would use the money line for that. I would just take my cursor, look to the, well, I would actually take my ruler. And I would just press on the ruler, come down to about right here, because as you can see, price is getting ready to pull back a little bit. So this would be my next lowest low, about right here. And that's about 23, 22 pips. It's going to pull back just a little bit right here. And then it's going to come back down some more. Well, you take that information and you apply it towards the right. So as you can see, price will continue to come down here, pull back a little bit there, and then continue to come down. So that's the way I use the money line. I think it's everything. And that is the first thing that I look at when I start trading, aside from the red line above the blue line, or if it's below the blue line. So are there any questions? Wow, I must explain that really well. Okay, so I'll show you what I do when I receive a trade alert. The first thing I do is, of course, click on the pair. And in this case, it's GBP USD. So the chart will appear. And then I look to see how much time has passed. Now I'm looking for anything that has occurred within the first 5 minutes. Now that's me, but that's what I do. If it occurs, because there's so many alerts in the run of a day that if it's not within the first 5 minutes, I'm gonna move on to the next trade, to the next alert. So we're gonna pretend that this one is within the first 5 minutes. And what I do is I just go to the trend line and click on horizontal line. And then I click anywhere on the screen. The horizontal line appears. I go to the wheel, which is the settings, click on that. And I'm going to enter the called at price for GBP USD, which is 1.25099. I'm going to click OK. And as you see, the horizontal line adjusts to the called at price. Now, then I'm also going to I know that GBP USD is a buy, so what I'm going to do is go to the trend line again, click on the horizontal line, click on the screen, go to settings, and I'm going to add 10 pips to the called at price. So the called at price is 1.2509, so we're going to change that to 25199. That's our take profit for GBP USD as a buy. And as you can see, it's already taking profit. So, but that helps you, to me, that just helps you give you a clear direction as to where price is, what you're looking for, what the called at price is, when to enter the trade, and when you're going to take profit. Any questions?
I have a question, Theresa. Hello? Oh,
Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You looked at it and said, as you can see, it already take profit. How can you do that? How can you look and what am I looking for? Be able to look and see that like you.
I looked at the blue candle right here. See, I looked at this blue candle right here. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, I'm looking.
So this was the entrance price, and the blue candle is already touched on the take profit, and now it's pulling back. Now
Oh,
it could very well retrace, but that's how I could tell.
oh, so as long as the blue candle, since it's a buy, as long as the blue candle touches the take profit, then that means it's already taken the profit.
9 times out of 10, it does. You know, of course.
Okay, but that's what you're looking at right now.
That's what I'm looking at. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And the other thing that I do that I did not mention is that, say for instance, I can enter this trade. You know, the one thing I want to do is make sure this right here, see this number 1411 or 110, that is the timer for your candle, your current candle. So the one thing I'm going to do is make sure, like, if in fact, I'm ready to enter into a trade and it's a buy, I know I'm looking at a blue candle. You know, the blue candle is your buy candle, the red candle is your sell candle. I want to make sure I'm looking at a blue candle. Because this is a 15-minute time frame, I want to give my candle time to warm up. I want to make sure it's fully formed, and it's fully formed at 12 minutes. So I'm going to hold off on doing anything until this timer changes to 12 minutes if this is a blue candle. This just happens to be pulling back, but I will be looking for a blue candle. Once, in fact, I hit the 12-minute point, I'm going to go to my 5-minute candle, and I'm going to make sure that particular candle is blue as well. Then I'm going to go to my 1 minute, and I'm going to make sure that candle is blue. And if all three candles are blue, once if it's at 12 minutes, well, then that's when I'm going to enter into the trade. Any other questions?
If the candles don't match on the time frames, is that an indicator to just not consider the trade?
I just wait. If in fact I really want to take the trade, I'm going to wait to make sure the candles are consistent, because it could mean the price is going to pull back.
Okay.
What was the stop loss? I don't use a stop loss at all. I didn't give one. You would determine your own stop loss based on how much you're willing to lose. Any other questions? This is your time, folks. You want to go ahead and get your questions out of the way if you have any. If I explained it that great, that's wonderful. I mean, the one and the other thing I may add is that, it's a good idea to really trade and practice and demo. And, what some of the things you want to do is make sure that you record all of your trades. I know for the first year that I traded, I recorded every trade. And that allowed me the ability to see that price just continues, to retrace, and history repeats itself, and so does price. So, and then it allowed me to see what was my favorite pairs. And what are the best combinations to trade? Well, it kind of depends on the individual. I know a lot of people that like EUR USD. I don't care for the EUR pairs. They kind of move too slow for me. I like GBP pairs, and then I like indices. But I know people that like NZD pairs. So it just kind of depends on the individual. EUR GBP pays out better than any of the other pairs, I believe. So I don't particularly care for it, and that's unusual because if the price is right, I'll make myself adjust to anything. But it's something about that paired way it moves. I just don't particularly care for it. But so I like the indices. I'll trade indices all day. I spend my time trading US 30 and SPX 500. I like those two. And then, of course, I'll trade the GBP pairs. So, but again, it's your personal choice. But the best thing to do is to find maybe two or three that you like, and then just start studying the pattern of the pair. And once you study the pattern of it and learn how it moves, it allows you the ability to make better trade decisions. Any other questions? I do recommend that while you're in demo, if you think that you feel comfortable trading and you're ready to go to a live account, I recommend that you get another demo account and put in the amount of money that you're going to put in your live account, and trade it like it's a live account. I mean, you don't have to do it for a long period of time, but just trade it like it's a live account, so you'll get a feel how your trading style is going to be. And then the other thing, when you're in demo and you're trading at one account like it's a live account, only trade one trade at a time. Because I'm going to tell you, take it from somebody who knows. Dr. Kathy calls out a lot of trades every day. And I'm going to tell you, in the beginning, every trade she called, I tried to take it. And what I quickly found out is that you can't, that's a sure sign of over leveraging, because you just can't put in all those trades in one account. So you want to trade one trade at a time. Once that trade takes profit, then trade another one. That is the best way to trade. And then you want to trade half of your capital. So say, for instance, if you have a $500 account, you want to trade it like it's $250. Let me see. Any other questions? You guys are quiet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the market to see if we can find a trade to get in. what are the best times to get into the market? Now there are pushes. I like the London session. Um, there are pushes in the market, and I don't know them all off the top of my head, but I know there is a push at 2:30, I think. There's, and that's in the AM. There's like, say for instance, starting with the Tokyo session, I think there's one, a push at 8:30 and 9:30. And there may be another push at 10:30. And then I know in London session there's a push at 2:30 and I think another one at 4:30, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. And then in New York session, of course, when the market opens, there's a push at 9:30, 10:30. And then 1 o'clock, 2:30, and 3:45. I think those are the pushes in the market. You have to decide what time, what session works best for you. I know London works best for me because I found that in trading, it takes a lot, it takes focus. And at, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, there's no noise in the house, there's no phone ringing. So, all I have is myself, the good Lord, and the trades. And I just think that is the ideal time for me to trade. I don't do as well in my trades during New York session. I just have too many distractions. So the time that I like to trade is London session. So you'll have to find out which session works for you. Try them all. I don't particularly care for the Tokyo session because it's just not a lot moving. So yeah. And during the London session, that's when the banks are trading. So, why not trade during that time frame if in fact you can get up and trade with them? So I'm fortunate in that respect. I can do that. That answer your question? Okay. All right. Let me see. Now, AUD was called as a sale, but it's clearly pulling back right now. But this is on the 4-hour time frame. Yes, on the 4-hour time frame. So it's pulling back right now. And the key is that when it pulls back, does it continue to go up or does it come back down? That's what you'll want to watch for if you're interested in that trade. You're looking to see if in fact it goes above. You're looking to the immediate left to see if it's going to go above this point right here, to see if it's going to continue to keep pulling back or is it going to come back down to the take profit. Let's see. This was called 1 hour and 12 minutes ago. So I'll just scan the market, not unless you guys can come up with some more questions. During the Tokyo session, like when I'm scanning the market, I'm looking at GBP pairs, AUD pairs, sometimes CAD pairs. But the reason why I go to FinViz is to see which ones I should look at first. When should you take profit and get out of the market? I really do believe that you should focus on once you're using the strategy of once your trade goes into profit, put your stop loss in profit. And that makes you have a risk-free trade. Um, Oftentimes, price is always going to pull back. So therefore, at least when you do it, when you use that strategy, at least if you're taken out of the trade, you're taken out of the trade in profit versus negative. So you can eat, like, say, for instance, you set your 10 pips, you set your take profit 10 pips, okay? Once your trade goes into profit, I mean, you can go ahead and set your stop loss 30 to 40 pips, okay? But once your trade goes into profit, and I would say probably 5 pips into profit, that's when you need to set your stop loss. 5 pips in profit, because the bottom line is something's better than nothing, or something's better than being in the red. So I think that's a brilliant strategy myself, risk-free trading, even though I don't do it, but I think it's a brilliant strategy. I'm looking to see if there's anything moving right now. If anybody sees anything, just let me know. We'll take a look at it. I kind of figured this would be a quiet night because there is no news whatsoever. How do you know that your trade is 5 pips in profit? Well, say for instance, you went into a trade, say for instance, your take profit on the trade was 7.46155. You just take half of that. So if your entry price was 05, well, then your 5% profits would be at price 7.4610, 105. And that's where you put your take profit. I mean, your stop loss, I'm sorry. Make sense? So it's halfway. Once you see that you're in based on your entrance price, you can count, if you're buying, you can count 5 pips. And you know that your 5 pips is half of your take profit. Does that make sense? Okay, great. You're welcome. Okay, guys. I don't see anything moving. I knew that this was going to be one of those nights where nothing was, because there's no news. But I do highly recommend that everyone make sure that you set your alarm for when Dr. Kathy's on, because URJPY looks like it's moving a little bit. It is selling right now. Let me pull this up. URJPY. Oh, come on. Okay, as you can see, EURJPY is selling right now. It is price. It looks like it's in the cloud. I would wait until price actually came out of the cloud, and you can easily get 10 pips out of this. Right now, the candle has 10 minutes on it. I'll probably wait until my next candle. Make sure, because see what could happen is right here, see this is a resistance line right here. It could easily bounce. The reason that you're waiting is because it could bounce off this line and go and pull back. Because the cloud is going up. So if in fact it comes out of the cloud, well then it's going to be a trend change. If it hits off the resistance point and goes back up, well then this is just a pullback. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So we're just going to sit here and watch it, because I think that's important for people to know. When is it a trend change and when is it a pullback? And as you can see, the cloud is in an upward trend. It's moving, the cloud has moved up towards the upside. The red line is below the blue line. Price is inside the cloud. It's at a resistance point. So the question is, what is price going to do? Is it going to bounce off the resistance point and go back up through the cloud and continue its upward trend? Or is it going to do a trend change and come below the cloud? So that's why I say that when you trade, you have to have patience, because sometimes it's just a waiting game. Sometimes it's just a waiting game. And with Forex, patience will make you money. I mean, it really will. Okay, so Sheeta, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying with the pullback. What about GBP USD as a potential buy? Well, as you can see, the cloud is moving to the upside. The red line is above the blue line. Right now it's pulling back. It looks like the green line is sideways. The blue line is, I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit closer on this. Yeah. When that blue line is kind of going sideways, that's an indication of price is going to consolidate. So, I mean, it's pulling back right now. There is 7 minutes left on this candle. Is that a blue candle? Wait a minute, I can't see. Yeah, that is a blue candle, isn't it? Well, there's 7 minutes waiting on this candle right now. I'd wait on the next candle to see what price is going to do. So I can't call it right now. if you just take it back, I mean, if in fact, see, it's turned red, the candles turn red. You know, if you get a blue candle and you take it back up to maybe right here to where it was, you're gonna get about 10 pips out of that. But now it's turned blue again. Let's see what it's doing on the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, it's a blue candle. On the 1 minute, it's a blue candle. But me, I'll wait on the next candle. So, I mean, it's really up to you, but that's what I would do. Does that help you, Sheeta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does anyone else see anything? Any more questions? You have about 5 more minutes.
Can you just review? Um, you talked a lot about the green line correlating with the candle, and then the red, just kind of like the. Oh, I'm sorry for the background. Um, just kind of reviewing what we're looking for once we get the alert.
Okay, so once you get the alert, first of all, make sure you pair to make sure that the correct pair, the market. And
Mm-hmm.
then I make sure that when I'm looking at and then what I do is I go to my chart and I click on the horizontal line. And once I'm there, I click confirm no setting and I type in my call pattern. So for this one, it is 1, where is it? 0.25047. Then I click OK. So I know this is a buy, so I'm just going to add 10 pips to it. So I'm going to draw another line. I'm going to add another horizontal line. Why didn't it take? Where'd it go? Horizontal line, clicked on it. Settings. 25047. Click OK. There it is, going from a second horizontal line, which is going to be my take profit line. Click anywhere, settings, add 10 pips to the called at price, which would be 25147. Then this lets me know that I'm looking for a buy candle, which is a blue candle. And this is going to be my called at price. So this is where I want to enter. And this is going to be my take profit. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a blue candle to emerge. And that blue candle, I'm looking at the timer to see if my current candle is blue. I'm looking at the timer to make sure that it's probably around 12 minutes. Because that's when a candle has warmed up and is fully formed. If it's somewhere around 1 minute, 7, 8 minutes, I'm going to wait on the next blue candle. But if it's around 12 minutes, then the first thing I'm going to do is go to the 5 minute. And I'm going to make sure the current candle is a blue candle. Then I'm going to go to the 1 minute, and I'm going to make sure that current candle is a blue candle. If all three are blue, well, then I'm going to go ahead and enter my trade. And I'm going to set my take profit for 1.25147. And then I'll just wait for it to take profit. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I was on TradingView and Kevin Serrano said set your stop loss 1-to-1 risk. What does he mean? How do I do that? I don't know. You're going to have to ask him. I don't know if that means 1 to 100, 1% for every 100. I don't know what that means. I can't speak for him. I've never followed him as an educator, so I have no idea. All right, guys. Last call for questions.
Are we going to check back on the other trade, the Euro JPY, to see if it came out of the cloud?
Yeah, we can. It hasn't come out yet. Right now, there's a new candle. It's 14 minutes on that candle. And it's going back and forth right now, which is not unusual. I would suggest waiting until it gets to the 12 minutes and see if in fact it is outside of the cloud. Because I'm going to tell you, there's such a drawdown. I mean, if it does come outside of the cloud, it's going to be a nice sale if it does come out. So I would probably wait on my second candle because you want to make sure that candle closes outside of the cloud. So I will probably wait on my second candle to enter because it's going to be
Okay.
a nice sale.
Okay.
Yeah, if it does. But just like I said, you have to wait and see. Because see, what happens is sometimes it looks like it's out, but then it closes within. And that's still enough for it to, you know, to actually ricochet off of it and go back up. So that's what you have to be careful of. So just watch it, and then you'll be able to make an informed decision. Okay, guys, that concludes my time today. I hope you got value out of today's session. Don't forget to hop on board with Dr. Kathy at 3 o'clock in the morning and at 9. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. Well, tomorrow's the trade-a-thon, so I'm thinking she may keep her same schedule. I don't know. But do everything that you can to get on board with Dr. Kathy so we can keep her in the #1 status. That's the only way she'll stay there is that for us to hop on her live sessions. So let me see. Is there another question that I missed? Okay. No. So happy trading. Again, I hope you got some good value out of this session. Happy trading tomorrow. Have a blessed weekend. And we'll be back again Monday, same time, same place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.